So I want to point out something before I go into the camp screen. If you were watching the previous video, you saw the condition of the Union units um, as the battle ended. This is something that possibly will need to be addressed long term, and I need to bring it up with Game Labs and the Ultimate General team. But you'll notice that the Federals pressed their attack so hard in this battle that they were almost completely destroyed. They'd already lost almost, I think, over 60% of their infantry. Yeah, 13,000 out of 20,000. More than 60%. And what it would mean would be is that if I was the South and I was able to continue this battle, it would be a much more devastating, it would have a much larger effect on the remaining units. In other words, I could have captured that artillery, possibly could have captured some supplies for a relatively low number of additional casualties. I really would like them, especially on Legendary, to be able to finish these battles like that. Or conversely, make the Union a little less aggressive in the attack. Because they're so aggressive that they take a lot of casualties. And what you'll see time and time again, especially on defenses in Legendary, is there's it's like a wave coming in. The Union attack will come in like a wave. Sometimes you'll get a couple of waves, and then it will dissipate and they will fall apart because they're so aggressive and they've taken so many casualties that they've got nothing left. So food for thought in the future. 65,000, 5,500 men, so I actually barely covered my casualties in that battle. 1 career point for reputation. Let's save. And of course, this is not going to be cheap to get these units back in shape. Let's see. So my next point of army organization probably doesn't do much for me. Well, it does add 5 brigades per division, which could be helpful. And actually will be helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and take that point of army organization. My goal here is to have most or all of my available forces for Gaines Mill in my first corps. Speaking of which, I forgot to rename this. Reason being is that the second corps in Gaines Mill is, you have to have it, but it's essentially useless. Okay, so let's get some lieutenant colonels in charge here. Replace the guys who got wounded. Very low on officers, unfortunately. Hey, Cable got his 2nd star. Look at that. So now our options are faster shooting, better accuracy, or rotation speed and additional stealth. Yeah. Unlike the 1st star with artillery, which obviously 50% ammo is huge, this one is a much tougher choice. Because these are Napoleons, they don't have to stay Napoleons, but they typically are close to the front line, so the additional stealth and cover would be useful. Firing faster with artillery is not something you want. They burn ammo like crazy, like it is right now. So I will give them improved accuracy, I think. Once again, we will 23 men now costs 3,200 bucks for the artillery. I also want to point out, this is why people love 24-pounders. This was a brand new unit, essentially green, you know, very inexperienced. They were right behind that main combat in the middle. They took 17 losses. They got 1,675 kills. That one canister blast I pointed out in the video probably accounted for 200 or 300 of that. 24-pound howitzers are just vicious, vicious at short range and medium range. And that's why we love them. I think these guys, yeah, they took a few casualties. Ordnance did 670 damage. Of course, they were They had to move in the middle of that fight, so they probably could have gotten to about 1,000, like the 12-pounders Napoleons did. They were at 1,100, so still good. They were also a relatively green unit, although they have a little more experience. These guys did really great. Fortunately, it's going to cost 20,000 to refill them with veterans, so probably not something I want to do. Let's see how bad it is to get them up to 400 with veterans. It's 10,000 to get them to 400. Good rookies, they drop down to 31 efficiency. Yeah, I think a mix is probably best here. Spend 10,000 to get them up to 400. And then another 2,000 to get them up to 500. That drops them down to 35 efficiency. Drops morale and firearms a little bit, but it's acceptable, I think. We know how Ellis got promoted to Brigadier General in that fiasco. Alright. $20,000 to refill those guys with veterans. That's not going to happen. Can we get away? No.
Yes, sir.
Same thing here. This is going to be expensive because I don't want him to lose that second star. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Yeah, so we'll drop it down. Drops his efficiency to 38, though. From 57. I probably don't want to go that far, so we'll put 10,000 in veterans. That's not too bad. He's 41 now. Oh, this is not good. We are out of MJ and Gs. We can't even recover this unit. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is switch this unit probably to 1855s. Yeah, we got 1,300 1855s, which is probably enough. Although we could switch. That means I'm gonna have to reload. Yeah, screw it. We'll use the Mississippis anyway at some point. We're gonna switch these guys to 1855s. Cost 20,000, and then we'll switch these guys to Mississippis. Get back up strength. 45,000. Put that on hold. Finish the rest of these guys. 576 palmettos. Yeah, see, we're running out of palmettos too. And Springfields. We'll have to go with the Springfields. Those guys are palmettos, but fortunately they weren't involved in the fight, so it's not going to cost to bring them back up. That leaves me 27,000 for expansion. Oh, gotta get these guys. Put 10,000 veterans into them, so they don't go quite as far down. That leaves me 16,000 for expansion. Let's take a look at the armory and see if there's anything we can get rid of. We've now got 278 smiths. We've still got those Remington 1861s hanging around. Get rid of these two Jameses. Gives me a little more. Question is whether or not we hang on to the Smiths. The Smiths are good weapons, but our chances of getting a hold of enough of them to actually do anything is a problem. Same thing with the Sharps 1859, although these will start to show up more as the Union units pick them up. Means the Smiths are dang effective. I do get Remington 1861s in the shop, but they are not cheap, and they're not as good at melee as the Colt 1855s, so the only possible way I can utilize them would be to ride up close with my cavalry and shoot into the flank of a unit, which is risky to say the least. I just don't see a place for these, since I can't get any more. I have enough to equip a skirmisher unit. I could certainly do that. Yeah, it's a tough choice. It's a choice I don't have to make just yet. These guys are with 1861 fields. I believe the Republic is 8 brigades? 10 brigades? 9 brigades. One of the things they don't tell you about Port Republic is you actually start off with 2 brigades, and the rest come in afterwards. So I may have to manipulate my my division structure here to make sure that this actually works. There's not a lot of use for artillery in Port Republic. There's some. What I will do, swap this artillery, cavalry, to make sure that the cavalry gets into this next fight. Whatever artillery I get, if the skirmishers come in, I'll use them. But what I'll probably get is these 9 units. In all honesty, cavalry is useful in Port Republic because you can kill off a brigade with them, but they're not necessarily necessary. Port Republic is what I call a turkey shoot. That's one of the reasons why I'm debating which units to bring in here. The initial part of the battle is relatively easy. You rush a single brigade that's on the objective, you take it, you hold the objective, and then there's some attacks on your right, their left, that come up the hill. The problem is that attacking up that hill is just miserable. And so what happens is they get knocked down the hill, and then they have to come back up it, and they eventually run out of stamina condition and are unable to do anything. I've had a Union brigade actually fall back to the woods in the west and just sit there. Although I suspect that the attacks will be much more energetic, especially from the skirmishers in this fight. So I'm wondering exactly how I want to do this. Well, we're going to go in like this, I think. We're going to use the artillery to participate in the turkey shoot. And we'll use detached skirmishers to fend off their skirmishers, save my expensive guys. We'll try to keep this to a minimum of casualties. All right, that's it. That's what I'm going into Port Republic with.